So, Namaskar, good morning. Uh, let's get started with today's session. But before we get into today's session, anyone has got any questions, anything? Did you get a chance to apply the prompts, the patterns, what we discussed yesterday? And again, or did you get a chance to go through the assignment for the day three, the third assignment, which is the prime assignment? Any questions you have? If not, we can always come back to that. But let's get started with today's session, because today what we are the prompts which we are going to use today, or the patterns which we are going to discuss today, are, you can say that they are the most advanced level of prompt engineering. Okay, they're the most advanced level of prompt engineering. In fact, these are the prompts which are actually internally used within a lot of these agents and the LLMs. Most of the prompts are actually used by the LLMs also. The LLMs internally as well as by the agents internally. So that is the so that's why you need to understand them in a little different way than the other prompts which we had discussed. But I can tell you one thing is that if you can, if you can actually implement, and you will be able to implement, when you implement them, you will see the real strategic power of generative AI. Till now, we had seen a lot of excellent operational capabilities, content creation capabilities, creation capabilities, and that. What today we will see is basically more of the reasoning capabilities. And these reasoning capabilities actually build the real, or the not the real, I will not say the real intelligence only lies in the human, the artificial intelligence part. You can see the artificial intelligence, what intelligence is. You can really see them in this. And from a implementation part, these prompts can actually be a lot of your strategic tools. These prompts can be used as your strategic tools, and this will actually, when you start thinking in terms of building strategies or implementing strategies. But even before implementing a strategy, you have to first build a strategy. You build a strategy, then you implement the strategy, and you implement the strategy by executing a set of tasks. Okay, so that those tasks are the operational level tasks, okay, which are being implemented as a part of your strategy. But before you even build your before you implement the strategy, you have to build the strategy. So these are the tools which can actually help you in building the strategies, and we'll apply them and see how we can. I'll show you some of the use cases where you can use these type of tools and implement, build strategies, and not only build strategies, and then subsequently down the line you can implement those strategies and execute those strategies. Execute the strategy is the operational level. Okay, so this is like like how you can think like a CEO, or how you can think like a CTO or the CEO, that level. Okay, so let me first explain you the pattern structure as structures, and then I will show you the prompt patterns in action. The first is basically what we call as a chain of thought. Okay. Now, why do we call it a chain of thought? And this was one of the first prompt patterns in for reasoning. Okay, and it became very popular. It became very popular in 2000 and I think 2023 when this prompt came out. This pattern was come. There are a lot of papers. You can find out if you search on the internet, there are a lot of papers on chain of thought, tree of thoughts. Even there is another called train of thoughts. So you can find those papers, and they are those papers. Of course, those papers are the mathematical models behind these prompt pattern, because every prompt pattern or every prompt has got a mathematical model behind it, because ultimately the algorithm is nothing but a mathematical model, okay, which simulates the human neural model, that is the brain, human, which simulates the human brain. Okay, So let us come one by one. Chain of thought prompting is basically again like human thinking. And I have been telling this all again and again that the best way to understand how a LLM works and get the best out of a LLM is to think like a LLM. Okay, is to think like how the LLM must be working, how what the LLM must be thinking, what the LLM will be giving back. Okay, when you start thinking from that perspective, you will really understand what is going on, because ultimately LLM is nothing but a algorithm and a set of data. Okay, now we as humans we cannot control on that data, because of course because our cognitive brain size is limited, our attention span is limited. Okay, so we cannot control on that data, but we can always control on the algorithm. And that what is that algorithm? That algorithm is nothing but how we think as humans. We change our thinking, we change the algorithm, we optimize the algorithm, we optimize our thinking, our results are better. So ultimately, it is all about how you think, how you, and based on your thinking, how do you act? Because obviously, everything, every action we take is based on some thought, right? Similarly, the LLM also works in that pattern only. So chain of thought is basically like, again, follows the human brain's working or human's thinking process. Like whenever we have a complex problem, what do? We try to break down the problem into smaller and manageable chunks. And then we start taking each part of the problem, we take the which is the most important critical problem, the most critical problem, or which is the most critical sub problem or problem in that case, after we have broken down all the problems, then we try to solve that. Or why other problems cannot be solved unless and until this particular problem is solved. That means we prioritize the problems. And then we find out the dependencies of the problems. And then we say, okay, let us first fix this. And then we will go on fixing the others. Or we say, unless and until we fix these problems, the other problems cannot be fixed. Okay. So what are we doing here? We are thinking, we are breaking down the problem. Then we are applying some prioritization techniques. We are applying some, we are identifying some dependencies, and then we are executing those steps. Okay. That is why what we call as a let us solve it step by step. Well, whenever you have a big problem, we say that okay, boss, we cannot attack the same in this problem. There cannot be one single solution for this problem. There are multiple problems in this problem, and we have to find out the solution for each of those problems. So let us solve them step by step. So we analyze the problem, we break down the problem, we find out the dependencies of the problems, we find out what are the which are the problems which need to be solved on priority, and then we solve those problems. Okay, then we take the actions to solve those problems. That is basically the chain of thought prompting. Chain of thought prompting, in a chain of thought prompting, we implement the same thing, but in a form of a prompt. Okay. Now, next comes is the tree of thoughts. But before I go to the tree of thought, is the concept of chain of thought. I'm just trying to clear your concept, build your concepts. Okay, because if your concepts are clear, you can understand anything and everything. Maybe after one trial, two trials, three trials, and with every trial, your conception will increase, will become better. Your concepts will become better. Okay, so I'm trying to focus right now on the concepts only. But is the concept of what is a chain of thought? What do we mean of the chain of thought clear to everyone? Okay, let me move to tree of thoughts. Now, tree of thought is like many times we face some problems, and in those problems, what we see is that there are multiple options available. Okay, there are multiple options available to, or we have multiple ideas. Okay, that I can solve it by this way, but I can also solve it by this way, but and this way is also this is also a possible, another possible way. But which is the right way? Which will be the right way to solve? I do not approach it all with all the three, right? Oh, sorry. I do not approach it with all the three. paths which are available. What I try is that let me explore this one. If this works good, I can take it. I can move ahead with it. If I feel there is any problem over here, maybe I can try the second one. Basically, plan A, plan B, plan C. Okay, that's human mind does it, right? If it happens, then I will do. But then there are some other ways, or basically there are some other situations. I'll not say ways, but there are some other situations where we are not sure of any of the paths. Where will this path A lead us? Where will this path B lead us? Where will this path C lead us? So then what we do? We say that, okay, if we have those resources, if we have, say, if we have three options and we have three people to explore those options, we will say that, oh, okay, you A go by the plan B, you maybe X go by the plan A, Y go by the plan B, and Z go by the plan C. Let us go and let us see who is getting there faster, who is getting there is doing it more efficiently, and then whichever works most efficiently, we will choose that. Okay. So what you are trying is, you are trying a simultaneous exploration of multiple possibilities. Okay. You can use the LLMs also to do the same thing. Take multiple paths at the same time, and then based on the results or the outcomes, decide which path is the most optimum path for you. So that is what we call as the tree of thoughts prompting. That is the concept behind tree of thoughts prompting. React actually is not react in the way it is basically reasoning and acting. React is not only that. Here we are only in chain of thought and tree of thoughts, we are only mostly we are focusing on the reasoning. In React, we actually not only focus on the reasoning, based on the reasoning we take a action. It is something like if, then, else. So if this is true, do this, else do this, else if do this. Okay, that side of decision making. Like if we are from the programming side, you will know these constructs. But React is, you reason, and based on the reason, if your answer is, if you're based on the reason, define an action and take that action. Okay, that is what we call React prompting. That's one of the side. And fourth one, which is the problem formulation. Basically, problem formulation is basically again a language model problem pattern. Basically, where many times we do not know even the problem. What we have is some symptoms. What we have is some constraints. What we have is some challenges. Now, how? This is where we say that let us find the root cause. We know that there is a problem, but we don't know why that problem is. So then we say that, okay, let us find the root cause, and then we try dissecting the problem. We try dissecting the problem till the time we ask the 5 why questions. We try build a Pareto chart. We build a fishbone diagram, and we try to see, okay, which are the issues. We build the issues and the sub issues and try to find out which because of why is this problem happening. That is basically, and that's the approach. That is the approach what we take. Okay. And we say that 80-20 principle, we apply the Pareto principle, say that 80% of the problems are because of the 20% of the issues. 80% of the issues are because of the 20% of the problems which we have. So finding out that particular part. Okay. That is what we call as a problem formulation. Okay. Now these all patterns can be implemented by writing the right prompt, and they can help us in solving the very strategic issues or problems within the entire pursuit life cycle. Okay. So this is the basic concept of what problem solving patterns are. Okay. So these category of patterns, this chain of thought, tree of thought, React, for problem formulation, these category of these prompts, this type of prompts, they are known as the problem solving prompt patterns. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Any thoughts? Any things in your mind? Okay. Let me explain. Okay, these are the explanations. You can read them through. I think I have explained them to you. Basically, very clearly, I have explained. So it enhances the reasoning. Why do we need reasoning capabilities, multi-step problems? Of course, builds transparency and explain. Because when you are going step by step, you know what you are doing, and you have a reason why you are doing. So when you know what you are doing, that is being transparent. That is the transparency, and explainability is why it is being done. That is basically the explainability. Now these are some certain things which you need to understand about the attributes. Like in any software application, you have the functional requirements and then you have the non-functional requirements. Okay, and the non-functional requirements are equally important as that of the functional requirement. Similarly, in LLM, we have some uh, features, functional features like summarization, translation, question answering. So those are features. Those are, so you can say these are the functional features. The non-functional features are transparency, explainability, observability, sustainability. These are the non-functional features of any LLM. Okay, we will many of them we will discuss when we are in the AI agents, because when we are in a autonomous mode, when we are using AI in an autonomous mode or in as soft AI agents, there we need a lot of transparency. You need to know which agent is being, because there can be issues. The agent may work in a way we do not want it to, and it may cause you a lot of disasters or damages. Recently, it happened. If I don't know, if I know, don't I don't know if you guys read this news on Replit or on LinkedIn. That Replit, which is actually a vibe coding platform, it generates out code. Not only code, it generates out the entire application. And it was doing pretty good. Replit, Cursor, Lovable, these platforms are doing pretty good, and these are all vibe coding platforms. One of the agents of Replit, it deleted, I think, some 2000 records from a customer's production database. And not only did it delete that, it tried to fake it by generating some synthetic records, basically records which are not the original records, and putting them back in the database and patching them up and covering that error. Okay, so it did not only accidentally, or it is not known whether it did it accidentally or incident, or it was intentionally or something in there. But it not only done first it did that catastrophic disaster, then it tried to fake it up also to hide itself from that it had done it by mistake, and then tried to even reason that why it has done that. So but then it was human intervention detected it, and of course there was a lot of discussions on that how much autonomy should agents have. So that those are points which have to be discussed, but then again, that is not stopping things to from happening. Okay, so that is chain of thought prompting. Similarly, we have the tree of thought prompting, react prompting, again the problem formulation. Let us straight away jump into the prompts and see how these prompts work. Okay, so let me go and oh, mm, okay. So I was exploring something here. Let me go and say G4. Why is it not clearing this? Actually, I'm. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I got you. I was actually experimenting with the agent, so that's the reason. Mhm. Let me stop it. Yeah. So I'm here, and let me go and see the 4.5. Okay. Now let me see the prompt. Now I'm going to first show you the chain of thought prompt. Okay. Now, right. Prompt. Oh, okay. Yeah, yes. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the chain of thought prompting for for risk management in an RFP. Okay. The RFP which we were discussing, that is Seafarers RFP, we will try to identify what are the risk management and why am I selecting risk management here. Why did I select the use case of risk management? The reason is that in a risk management, you go in a step-by-step manner. First, you identify the risk, then you assess the risk, then you build a plan of how to mitigate the risk, and then finally you mitigate the risk. Okay, so you build a plan to mitigate the risk, and then you mitigate those risks when as and when they occur. So you are basically, and not only that, you also basically mitigate, and then also you monitor that whether that risk is going to reoccur or not, and you also have mechanisms of controlling the impact of the risk. Okay, so you are going to do it everything you do it in a step by step manner. You just do not go and say, okay, let us do risk management, and you jump into it and start taking actions. You go step by step. Okay, so that's the reason I'm taking that use case for risk management here. So I will take this prompt here. I am trying to manage the risk in an RFP. Let us work this. You are giving the instruction to the LLM to first plan, identify, assess, mitigate, monitor, and control every potential risk in the RFP. And your task is basically you are now giving a persona that your task as an experienced project risk manager is to compile your assessments, observations, and findings, and recommended mitigations into a comprehensive risk management report, and then you are giving it a constraint of output instruction of format the report in a table format using Markdown language. Markdown language is the symbols, like the symbols which we use. Like here I am using it to show that these are the list items. Then I use for templates, or I use for highlighting. So those angle brackets or those hash, these are basically the Markdown language symbols. Okay, let me take this and go to the prompt. Now, this is a very simple chain of thought prompt I am using. Okay, now let me add the RFP. Now, once I have added the RFP, just let me run it. So you see, it has basically created a entire sort of a risk register. Okay, so those who know who come from the project background, or those who are using risk management in your proposal, they will know a risk register is basically a list of all, not only the risks, identified risks, but what are their possible, but also their attributes, like their possible impact, the likelihood, the impact level, how they are internally being risk, how they are being rated, what are the recommended mitigations, what is the monitoring approach you should follow, and what are the control measures you can have. Okay, so now you can see here it has started reading the entire RFP, identifying project timeline risks, delay in project milestones. So you can see here how it has actually gone and done the entire analysis of the risk in a step-by-step manner. Okay, and that is, it is doing it because you have given the instructions to do it in that way. Okay, you didn't simply go out and say that, okay, imagine you are a risk manager, conduct a risk assessment or risk management plan for this. Here you are actually giving it a step-by-step approach to do it. And that's why you can see the comprehensiveness and the quality of the risk, which is not only it is finding out the risk, it is categorizing the risk, it is finding out its potential impact, it is finding out the likelihood, its impact level, rating it and doing doing the evaluation of the risk, giving it a rating, and then also doing the finding out the recommendation for it, and also the control, the monitoring approach and the control measures for it. So this is how the chain of thought prompt works. Is this clear? How the chain of thought prompting works?
Yeah, Abhijit. Just one question, Abhijit.
Hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah,
What
yeah, go
is
ahead.
meant by markdown language, which you wrote in the
Okay.
prompt?
Markdown language is nothing but symbols. Like these are like HTML tags. These are tags. These are the tags which you use. The tags are
Okay.
basically used to highlight that to the LLM that either they're used to highlight to the LLM, or they are used to format your document also. Okay. To format your document also, you use the markdown language. So basically, these are the tags which are added so that when you copy the content from here, say suppose I copied this content from here. I copy this content from here and I can copy it, and now I can paste it on any maybe sort of a document editor, and that document editor recognizes the markdown language symbols or the markdown language tags and formats it accordingly. So it is like if you know HTML, we will say /h1, which means that the content which follows is going to be heading 1. Then we have /h2.
Yeah.
So those internal. So what it is doing is internally inserting that symbol. Okay,
Oh,
that
very
that
nice.
that
Yeah.
you will not see it over here, but when you implement, when you paste it, let me show you how it looks like. Okay, here I go to Word. You go to Word here. So if I paste it over here, okay, before I paste it over there, I will show you something else. Let so I can show, let me create. Now I'm going to a text editor, which it does not actually, this text editor does not understand the mark language. Okay, I can go, and if I do a Control V over here, you will see these double asterisks, which means that this is a heading. Okay, okay. So this is how it is. It's vendor capability. So it means that this is a heading. Then it has created it like this. So I use this markup language. Now if I go to Word, which actually understands markup language, and I paste it here. Oh my God. Oh, paste markdown language. Now you see it has, see, you say project timeline, tech timeline, these are all in bold. Okay, why it has, because it added those two asterisks, double asterisks over there. Double asterisks markdown means enclosed within double asterisks means this is bold. This has to be
Yeah. Yeah.
printed in bold. Okay, so this is what is markdown languages.
Okay, great. Thank you, Abhijit.
Okay.
So, Abhijit, like
Hmm.
chain of thought means to break down anything and everything of the problem with regards to the RFP, right? Be it risk management or be
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Anything. Project management, risk management, bid management, anything. Whatever you want, whatever problem you want to solve. So solve the problem by breaking it down and solving taking one step at a time.
Okay. So as soon as if I receive the RFP and if I want to make a plan for my whole RFP, I can put it step by step. Like I need to give the.
Yeah, you ask that do this step one. So you can make that, but then you have to see that you are you are not exceeding the context window.
Yeah, I understood. Okay.
Okay.
So chain of thoughts can be applied to anything and everything.
Yeah. Anything. I just showed you one pattern. Okay.
Oh, got it.
Now, okay. So I just showed you one pattern. Now I will show you another pattern. Basically, here I ask the LLM to do the manage the risk by by following its own training model or by following its existing knowledge. What if you want to do the risk management as per your organization has got its own risk management policy? that this is the policy you need to follow. That means these are the instructions you need to follow, and you should not go out and do anything, explore anything outside. Okay, you need to follow it. So there I can give my steps also internally to the prompt, and then ask it to follow it. So the next one is, again, I am trying to manage the risk, the same risk management, but this time what I am trying to say is that I want you to follow the risk management policy of my organization. I don't want to use your training or what you have done, but I want to follow it. And then I have given, now these two symbols which you see, these are basically saying that this is a variable, this will be replaced by, again, now you see these two markdown, these are again markdown symbols. Okay, so markdown symbol means that this variable is going to be replaced by this. Okay, so this is a placeholder variable markdown. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is that I want to not only manage you to manage the risk, but I want to do it following the policy of my organization. Okay, so here I am saying this, and now let me copy this from here, and here is my risk management policy. This is my organization's risk management policy. That was first thing you will do a planning. How will you do the planning? Here you'll review the RFP requirements, analyze all functional, technical, compliant. You will compile a complaint. So you have given the entire organization's way. So you can actually, what I'm trying to say is that you can tailor it or customize it as per your organization also, if you have gotten those set of instructions. So you can follow your standard operating procedures and do the risk management also. It is not that you have to always be you have to be dependent on the knowledge or the capability of the LLM. Okay, so let me take this from here. Let me create a new chat, add the file. Yeah, now we can see. Now because it is, now it has to be used your means the instructions which I have given, or which is my policy. So it is going to take some time to do that. It is analyzing all the document, reading everything. Okay, so because I have very clearly mentioned it that you will do the risk assessment by reading every planning is going to review all the RFP requirements, scope, functional requirements, compile a comprehensive list of project requirements, and designate critical deal breakers that would disqualify a big. So I am going in much more deeper than standard. Okay, so that's the reason it's taking some time to do that. Yeah. But this is the way basically how you can actually use your uh, own set of instructions, rather than depending on depending on the instructions followed by the, because when the LLM is following those instructions, you do not know what exactly it is doing. It's a black box. Okay, you have to believe in what it is giving you, because it is not giving you the reason why it is doing, identifying that as a risk and not as a, and identifying that is as a high risk and not as a medium risk. Okay, but here you are giving it everything and telling that no, you will identify it as a high risk only if it is a deal breaker. You will identify it as a technical risk. You will identify. So that's the reason it is now taking that time to follow. But it should not take that much of time also. Let me stop it from here. Something went wrong. Yes, something went wrong. Let me change the model. Let me go to the AO4 mini, because that is the fastest model. We start a new context window. O4 mini here. Okay. File. See, now it has started working. So it is starting with the planning phase. Now it is following your instructions. Okay. Below is the planning phase deliverable. So it is giving you the planning phase deliverable. Okay. Functional, full functional, well from level source lines. So it is also okay. It is giving you also from where in the RFP, because you have said that find it out where in the RFP does this exist. So it is also finding it out from the RFP also. Critical deal breaker if unmet, failure to automate the core workflows. So this, if you are not doing this, then it can be a deal breaker. Technical risk, this is finding out. This is the list of critical deal breakers, what you are seeing as. Next steps, complete the full requirement register. Okay, now you are doing that. Next step. So you can go ahead and tell that, okay, compile the full requirement, then tell the deal breaker owner, draft the risk management sticker. Okay, so you can take step-by-step approach from here. With this foundation, it will move to risk. Now it is going to go to the next risk identification. So you can always give it a, because here you are doing it step by step. So you say, please proceed. So now it is identifying the risk. First it did a planning. Now it is identifying the risk. Okay. So now it is seeing, you can see the risk identification part. Next step, continue. So now it is say, okay, now I can go and do the next is basically the risk assessment. So I can simply say continue. So it has done the risk assessment, and finally you can ask it, it has done the next step. What is the next step? Quantify the severity, engagement, do you the targeted mitigated strategy? Yes, please. So now you have just created the entire risk mitigation plan. Okay. So now you can now move to monitoring and control. Okay, to finalize the triggers why this can happen. Now you can again give a command like please continue. And in between, if you want to do something else, you can actually go and do that also and come back again to that context. It has now given the risk owners also identify the risk owners. Next time, get a final report. Would you like to assemble the final comprehensive report? Yes, please. So now it is going to compile everything what it has done in one single report. So you now see the executive summary. This is the planning what it has done, and you can also again take each of them as unique, because these are done in the previous steps. Okay, risk identification, risk assessment, risk mitigation, risk monitoring and control. Okay, roles and responsibility, monitoring next. Okay, you can review and get a stakeholder validation also. You can find submit any queries or query. So it is suggesting you all other things what you can do with this. But the main point is, it is you are instead of jumping into a conclusion or jumping into making the LLM straight away go and start generating content to meet your query, you are making the LLM think step by step and take action step by step, and then finally doing that. Okay, that is basically the tree of thought. The first what we saw is that we use the process for internal. We use the internal training model of the LLM to do the risk management. Next, what we saw was how do we actually implement our own processes within the chain of thought. Clear to everyone? Of course, you need to do it at least 4, 5, and every time you will find something new also. It is not that this is the only way to do it. Every time you do it, every time I do it, after doing it for so many years now, every time I do it, I find out there is something else I can also do it. Something else I can improve, and there's some other problem also which I can solve with it. Okay, so there is nothing. Don't say that okay, this is the final thing. Everything can be improved. Everything can be improvised, at a later stage. Okay, but yes, you have to get started with one base prompt. So this is basically, you may call this as the base prompt, and then from here you can build the prompt. Okay, is this clear to everyone? Are you guys getting it?
Yes, Abhijit.
And
Yes, Abhijit. Yes.
Yes,
where
yes.
you think where you can implement it within the entire pursuit life cycle, and the assignment given to you is for that purpose, that you can map between your tasks in the entire process and see where you can apply each different type of this prompt. Okay, and there is no one single answer. You means Yash may think that this I can solve this problem using a chain of thought. Komal may think that I can solve this by using the thought. It can be done. Ultimately, the thing is how optimally you are solving the problem, how efficiently you are solving the problem, how are you stopping the problem from recurring. Okay, those are the things which you will be looking at. It is not that which prompt you are using. If you can try out multiple prompts, you can combine multiple prompts, you can create your own prompt pattern. Nobody stops you from even doing that. Okay, these are only things to get you started. After this, you have to do it on your own and find your own. Okay. Okay, let me go to the next prompt, which is the tree of thought prompting. Again, the same way of executing the prompt, but now you are doing it in a step-by-step manner, or in a chain of thought you did a step-by-step manner. In a tree of thought, what we will do? In a tree of thought, we will take multiple ways of thinking or multiple lines of thinking. We are generally used to think in one line. What we know, we think in that line. But with LLM, now you have the capability to think in different lines. You can wear different hats. You remember I don't know if you have ever done that, the zigzag thinking, like you put one hat and then you think like you put the red hat, you put the black hat, you put the white hat, you put the green hat, and then each way of thinking, and each actually is a way of thinking style. Okay, if you have never done the six hat thinking, just go and check YouTube. There are plenty of videos on that how you can switch between different types of thinking. Okay, now in tree of thought thinking, what we will do is that basically, to demonstrate this, what I am going to show you is basically we are going to use it for a bid no bid decision. Now in our real life, in real life, in practicality, the bid no bid decision is not dependent on one single person, unless and until it is a one person organization, or maybe a very, or only the loudest voice matters. In general, the bid no bid decision is based on the thoughts or the thinking of multiple people. Okay, and multiple lines of thinking. You can also say multiple lines of thinking from the solutions perspective, thinking from the deliverability perspective, thinking from the technicality perspective, thinking from the feasibility perspective. Okay, so, and then we take each of them, and based on the combined assessment or the ratings of each of them, the scoring or the weightage given by each of them, then based on that we take a collective decision of whether we should bid or no bid. Okay, it is not a single line of thinking, it is multiple line of thinking involved. Okay, so what I am going to do here is basically I am going to use the tree of thought prompting for taking a taking a bid no bid decision. Okay, and how will I do that? I will follow the same way. I will create a scenario the same way that there is a sales leader, there is a solution architect, there is a project manager, and there is a pricing lead. Now these are the people whose opinion, whose experience matters in taking a decision, in taking a bid or no bid decision. Okay, and I will ask them to brainstorm and put forward each individual's thoughts, and then based on their thoughts, I will take a collective decision of whether I should bid or organization should bid or it should not bid on the organization. Okay, so what I am saying is that visualize a team of 4 senior leaders of your organization collaboratively brainstorming on the probability of winning, whether deciding your organization. And why am I deciding? Because should I invest actually? Because when you lose a bid, you are not only losing losing an opportunity, but you are losing a huge amount of money which you have invested in. You are losing a huge amount of morale which you have invested in the bid. Okay. So if you are not bidding on a on a bid where you do not have the chance of winning, you are actually saving a lot of money for your organization. You are saving the morale. You are keeping the morale of your team. Okay, you are keeping the morale. You are keeping your brand morale, or basically the brand recognition also intact. Okay, if you continue losing in the market, people will know that, oh, these guys don't win. They always lose. So let us not take risk on that. So that your brand equity gets hurt. Okay. So what I'm going to do is here, basically visualize a team of 4 senior leaders. They are collaborating on this probability of winning, deciding whether you should organize or not. Okay. Each leader has a unique perspective, and they will meticulously share their thought process, considering the inputs and feedback from others. They acknowledge any inaccuracies, continuously refine and rebuild upon the collective insight of the group. That means like what happens in a meeting group. So you are putting them all together in a virtual meeting room. Okay. And should they be addressing it? Should we bid? What is the one goal we are addressing? That should we bid for this opportunity, and what is our likelihood of winning? Okay. They should be able to come out and answer this question. Okay. So basically, what I am trying to do here is I am trying to take a real life scenario. What happens? What happens in a real life scenario, and I am using the LLM's intelligence to create a virtual simulate that scenario. So you can see how you can actually, yesterday we saw the simulation of a evaluator, right? That how we can simulate a evaluator and use that evaluator profile to evaluate a proposal and get insights on that. Now actually I am using it to simulate even a boardroom decision, or basically a decision made by the senior leaders in the organization. Okay. Now that is the capability, that is the power of generative AI, which you need to use, not to only to create the content or edit the content or change the content. This is the power. This power, when you have, then you know what can be done. Okay. So let me show you how it works, and you just see how it works. Very simple, 5-line, 10-line prompt maybe. But you can imagine what is the capability you are building here. So you can see here, maybe the first thing is the sales leader is saying this RAP target, this is the reasoning he is providing. Solution says architect, on his architect, good feedback, good revenue, but we do we truly understand the functional scope? We need clarity on the custom module. Project manager, large scale, what is our delivery bandwidth? Our last 10 CR for 14 months. Okay. What is the collective insight? Together they decide opportunity size is attractive, but scope and capacity assumes are unvalidated. Okay. Next is solution architect's view. They take examining the functional list, 70% matches our existing platform. Custom workflows for fund management and gratuity will need 3 to 4 CTC over 6 weeks. Technical risk moderate. So now what you are doing is basically each leader is putting his reasoning. Others are refining it, or are providing a argument of what is right and what is wrong, and then they are taking a collective decision. Now based on this entire collective decision, should we bid, they are taking collectively, should we bid yes, estimated win probability is 70%. Key enablers, why we will win? Because we have got the IP reuse, we have clear government references, we have a robust schedule and this. What is the next step? Mobilize the capture team and do it. Summary, proceed with bid, impact potential 15 crore revenue with 17% margin, approximately 10% uplift in the executive level credibility. Okay. Risk mitigation, schedule risk mitigated via IPUs and dedicated capture team, cost and risk addressed. So now you can think that with one single prompt, what you can do, what you can how powerful you can be. Like you can simulate all these things, even whether your organization is doing it or not is a different question. But at least with you cannot now say that I do not have resources, I do not have people to do this all, so I will bid on everything what comes my way. No, now you can use the collective intelligence. Now here you are using the intelligence of available on the internet or the training model of the LLM. You can use your organization internet. You can, if you can simulate even questions from here and say that okay, on what basis? The possibilities are limitless. It is totally left on your imagination and your thinking process. Is it clear? Can you think like this? Can you think what is actually what is happening and what can be done? Are you able to imagine? Is it making sense even?
No, it's really good actually, Abhijit, because with respect to different personas, how it's doing the reasoning and giving the insights also total. So that is really good projection.
So, Abhijit, I have a question.
Mm.
For this bid and no bid decisions, like these persona, these are coming from LLM knowledge, right? Is it possible to have this? I mean, we can replace this with existing team and have this combined, or maybe because these are the LLM one, right? Not the organization one. So we can do collectively within the team. We can decide 4 5 key person and plus, and then we can have these
So
discussion.
if you can see what you're asking, Deepshika, is very much possible. Actually, we have done that also. Okay. See what we see. What are these digital avatars? These digital avatars are digital twins, what we call as the digital twins. So I can basically understand, analyze their profile and behavior and create your digital twin. Like if you are doing this over a period of time, whatever decisions you have taken over a period of your social media, whatever you're doing in the social media, whatever interactions you are doing, whatever LinkedIn post here, your unknowingly your behavior comes out. Okay. And it may look scary. It may look scary, I can tell you. But it is possible to predict what your thinking is going to be, next thinking is going to be. Okay. And then that is what we use as in the avatars, as the digital avatar. That it is something like Deepshika, it is Deepshika's twin. Okay. So you can do that. It is possible, but then you have to do a behavioral analysis or of that particular person, the thinking of that person, and that you can do. There are different other ways of doing it also. Okay, there are multiple ways of doing it also. You can do and create that avatar, but even you can even still that. Say a solution architect will think like a solution architect. A project manager will think like a project manager. Okay, so you can take a role based persona also. You can make a role based persona rather than a individual persona, and you can take a role based persona, and then if you know that other person, you can add some attributes like you are a project manager, but and these are your likings and these are your these are not your likings. Okay, you can even go and do the like we did the evaluator persona analysis of a LinkedIn profile. You can do his LinkedIn profile and find out some attributes about him also and add that to it. So the possibilities are limitless. The thing is, you have to imagine how you will do it. What I'm showing, yeah.
Yeah, there is a follow-up question to this. So, for creating persona and these things, so basically, this what you are suggesting that will be based on the available public information, right?
Hmm.
But when we do this for internal organization, so those things might not be available publicly. So, how to embed that in
So
this information?
you do like yesterday I was telling you, I was discussing about the social styles, right? So you identify the social style of that person. The social style of that person will give you the behavioral analysis. So you have to do a behavioral analysis, and you have to use those behavioral analysis findings over here. What are these Briggs Mayer Brick tests and all these tests which are psychometric tests which are available? Use those psychometric tests and get his behavior and put it in the thing. Your psychometric behavior. Why do organizations make you do all those, take you those psychometric tests? Because they want to know what your behavior is going to be. They want to predict what your behavior, and it is possible to predict also. To a lot of extent, it is very much possible to predict. Because unknowingly we do a lot of things which are innate, and we keep on doing repeating it. So basically, it is just identifying that pattern. Okay, if this person is put under stress, he will behave like this. If this person is left free, is given autonomy, then this person will do like this. This person will do. So that is all available. That will basically, only thing is that you have to capture it. Now, how to do it? You have to go out to a behavioral scientist and find that out, or you have to become a behavioral scientist and find that out.
Yeah,
But I
okay.
think, Vijit, even if we use this prompt, right? Imagine you are a solution architect and all those things, and we use it in our systems. Maybe break it down for Copilot because it's not that great, but break it down and kind of put personas, right, with people who are actually going to be the solution architect or the sales guy who was actually part of this entire bit, right? And put their personas. Means we already know because the system it will already capture from my backend data, right, or with all these people, right? And create the scenario. It will give a more customized kind of a this thing, right? Response. Right?
Yeah, thinking it will create that. Even if you put their LinkedIn profile, it will do.
So I was thinking that the use case, another use case is that when you prepare a response, you can put on your final response and put the evaluator's persona.
That is exactly what we discussed yesterday, Samir. That
Yeah.
find out for whom you are writing. When you
Yeah.
know for whom you write, yeah.
Yeah, so in case of prompt, as Samir was mentioning, for example, solution architect. So in our co-pilot or internal thing, we can put the name of that person. Maybe it can fetch the
Yeah, try it
his
out. I have not
his
used
or, his
Copilot.
or her style of solutioning, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can give 5 of his past documents, and ask him to analyze like what has been his solution, what has been his thought process behind the solution architect. If Copilot can run that, but yeah, if you give me 5 of his documents, I will be able to tell what is the thinking process of that person in the from a solution perspective.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is possible. It is possible. Nothing is impossible. It is like how much you can imagine about it, what you can imagine. So, but yeah, there is no out of the box solution here. Everything you have to think. You will not find this prompt if you go and Google it, you will not find this prompt. Okay, because I had to think about it. Okay, so if you can think of something, you can create something original. But you can create something original and you can do it. But if you are not thinking about it, you will be taking this prompt and using this prompt. Then it will not give you. You have to think. So the point I am trying to make here is, and the entire program is that think. Don't just follow the order or just follow the practice or follow because somebody is saying so. Think what it means in that context. That is the most important thing. And that should be the only one thing you should take away from it. Rest all, when you start thinking, you don't have to come back and look at this. You will do it on your own. Okay.
Abhijit, in this simulation, it's using the company data like 10 crore ARP case we delivered in 14 months something. So from where it's taking this data? Have you already provided that, if I missed?
Yeah, so basically, if we are taking this, the pricing needs to validate the essence, a blended rate of 2 lakh FT per. It is using its own internal data. This is not specific data. This is basically using the LLM training data. Somewhere it is making some assumptions from there, and somewhere from where it is taking. My point is not that where this data. If I have to give this data, I will provide it with a data source. Okay.
Right. Okay.
If I provide it with a data source that these are my past, what you can do, Sachin, is basically you can give your past proposal, few of your past proposals, and say that this is the rate card which we use, this is the type of size of the projects which I have done. So and that is where your RAG and fine tuning comes in, where you are using your own internal data. Now LLM the thinking process of LLM is going on as it is, but instead of using the data in its own training model data, it is now using your data.
Right. Okay.
So that is how you build your custom applications, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Anyone else? Any questions?
So Abhijit, in line to this one, so let's say now as a bid manager, I think we have the at least first level of clarity that of go no go decision. So we can step up and we can elevate our profile and present these things to the sales, pre-sales, and the other peoples that this could be a first level of this prediction that we should go ahead or not. So using this kind of data, we can put some highlights to the team, right? That we should go ahead or not. So it should not be required from the other team members or the dependencies on the other team members that you need to fill up this form. Then we will discuss these things. So rather than wasting that time, we can invest our time and we can come up with these data points to the team.
See, that is exactly what we talked about it at Samagam in Mumbai. On the spotlight. Do it and tell that this is what it is. If you have any questions, please come back to me. If you have any suggestions, please come back to me. But this is the decision I am taking because these are the facts. So you are taking the control in your, right now the remote is in somebody else's hand and you are only dancing with that remote. Now you have the remote with you. This was the remote, right? The reasoning why we should do this and why we should not do this. Now, when you have that reasoning, when you have that remote, when you have that control, you should be in the spotlight, right? Or and even you should be knowing this question, that these are the questions which see, what is the biggest threat within an organization? The biggest threat is not taking the risk. The people who have always moved up are the ones who have taken the risk, who have taken the ownership, who have taken the drive. If you are within your comfort zone and you don't want to take the risk, you will never be able to go out and there. You will only be there, only be in that circle. Look at your leaders, look at anybody in the industry who are leaders. They have taken a leap of faith or they have taken a risk and a leap of trust. So basically, your trust, your confidence is the key. When you start driving with that, you will see things are happening for you. If you say that, no, I don't know, I will not move, nothing will move.
Okay, understood. But so probably in line to your suggestions that let's say if I have received one opportunity, I have received one RFP. Now I have took a glance through, I have shared that document to the either ChatGPT or any other tool. I have asked him to provide the key pointers of the requirement and then the preliminary, the go no go decision. So since I am not from the technical background, I don't understand the technicality in depth. Now, if some technical person comes and he or she asks, sir, based on what decisions you have said that this is the comment. So at that point of time, what should be our answer? What should we tell them?
He said, see, first thing is that yes, the point is that if you are selling a technical solution and you say you don't know technology, are you the right fit for this? That's the big first question. Because you cannot sell something what you don't know.
No, I think so. I don't portray the questions appropriately. So let's say the requirement is for the asset management.
Okay.
With something which is not we as a core area have as a Mastech. So we do the partnerships, but probably these things is not been aware by the LLMs. And LLM will provide the response that no, Mastech has the capability, blah, 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 blah. But when I put the data points that no, Mastech don't have the core capability of doing the asset management, provide me the partnerships. He also provide me the partnerships. Now, whatever the partnership I have identified, is it appropriate or not? If this
No, you are bringing it. See, you are bringing it to the table that these are the possibilities. Okay, you are not saying that this is the way we have to go. You are what you are saying that okay, boss, we do not have this asset management. We do not have the asset management capabilities, but we have found out that that these are the partners with whom we can go for asset management. But then you also have to do that verification that whether those partners are exactly into asset management or not. Also, you cannot totally take a output given by the LLM and go to your boss and say, okay, boss, this. Then your boss will say, why do I need you? LLM will do all this for me.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, got my point.
Got it. Got it. Got it.
So use the LLM as a tool, as an assistant, not as your boss. Now you're taking, if you're thinking like LLM will do that and go it, I will only carry forward, I will only take what LLM has given me, boss. Your boss will say, why do I need you? Right?
Okay. Think through from the 360-degree angle perspective, not only from the what LLM is given.
Yes, obviously, yes. I will never say that, okay, what you take, and specifically where it is a decision to be made. Where there is a decision to be made, the final call has to be yours. Okay.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any questions? Or else we can take a break here and come back in 5 minutes. Fine. We'll come back in 10-15 and we'll complete the rest of the things. Okay. Okay. Getting back to action.
Is this end shot kind of thing? End shot because we are
Yeah,
giving example.
it is a combination of and short, but the prompt actually, the prompt which I actually wrote, I use the TOCD model. Okay. Anyway, let us go back to where we are. Okay. The first next prompt we will take is, okay, the React. Again, React is again, like suppose now I want to create a Win theme but I want to create the Win theme from based on my similar winning proposals which you have done in the past for similar type of problems. Okay. Now again, here I am using the generic content of the LLM. I am not using my own proposal LLM, but you can use your own proposals content here. Okay. So what I am saying is that I don't want only to reason. I also want you to act. React is reason, act. What I want that the LLM to do that. So what I'm saying is that you are a proposal strategist. You create Win theme that resonates with client here. Your proposal needs a strong Win theme that clearly communicates why it is the best choice. Reflect on your past experience and think about similar successful proposals and projects. Okay. So I am making it first do the reflection. Basically, first think of what you have done, why you have done that, what you think is the right reason. Okay. Now, then after that, review the client's requirement, pain points, and desired outcomes. Then basically, how can I align my Win theme with their priorities? How can we connect their Win themes? Consider the aspects of a solution which will be more compelling. Consider how the win. Now, basically, what you are doing is that you are first reflecting on what you have done. Basically, you are finding out a reason that why this Win theme fits in, and then you are acting on finding out what are they wanting, and based on that, how can I do that? Okay. So this is basically the prompt I am going to write. Okay. So this is a React prompt example, and I am doing it in a step-by-step process. First, I am reasoning, reflecting, and reasoning, and then I am acting. Basically, my acting is based on my I am creating the Win theme. Okay. So let me go here. And again, here I am giving it I am asking it to use its own internal training model, whatever it has, whatever, if like what it will do is basically when it sees this as the requirement, as the RFP requirement, as that of a ERP requirement, it will try to get its knowledge of the proposals knowledge of in ERP, then see what is the Win themes, what are the possible Win themes there. It will use that internal thing. But you can always use your own internal and write the prompt in a way that I want to refer you to refer to my these proposals. Okay. And you can provide the proposals as attachments, or you can even put them in your SharePoint folder and direct that to that particular folder or in a Google Drive folder and direct so that it reads from this folder. Now, every LLM can connect to your data sources. Okay, you can, if you go here in tools, you'll see this connect agent mode, and then you have the connect. Where is that connect? Okay, yeah, agent. No, not in agent mode. Yeah, there's a connect somewhere. Where is that connect? Is it in settings? I don't remember it, but I will show you. Ask me to show you. I'll just find out and show you. There's a connect where you can connect it to Microsoft Outlook. You can connect it to a G Drive. You can connect it to your SharePoint. You can connect it to OnePoint. Wherever you can point it even to the folder. The easiest way is upload it. But if you don't want to upload it, keep it in your folder. Connect it to that. It will read it from there. Oh, did I have already done that, right? Yeah, I have already done that. So now let me do it. So first it is doing is analyze the client context and priorities, review the RFP objectives, finding error, surface the candidate win themes. So what is the candidate win themes? Integrated welfare platform, one source of truth. So it is finding out that and giving a reason why this can be a possible win theme over here. Okay. Now align the win theme with the pain points and desired outcomes. So now it is taking each pain point, aligned win theme, and demonstrated understanding that how you can demonstrate that. Okay. Connect the unique strength with and differentiators. So deep domain expertise, end-to-end stack, cloud first mindset, user centric. So, and then it is crafting memorable taglines. One ERP, endless impact. Secure today, scale tomorrow. Empower seafarers, elevate services. On budget, on time, on track. Reinforces the. So each, now it is even creating the taglines for you. Now, where do you embed it within your proposal? In the executive summary, one ERP, endless impact, and then give the top 3 ROI metrics. In the technical approach, use secure today, scale tomorrow, implementation plan, user adoption and change management, risk management, cost management. Wherever you can use your win theme, it is even telling you where to use it and how to use it also. Validate the relevance, memorability, and distance. Relevance, each theme directly addresses a top pain point goal from the RFP. Use concise, alliterative taglines, but it's memorable taglines. Okay, reinforce visually with icons and call boxes, distinctness. So not only did it reason out, reflect and reason, but it also acted in creating the win themes, and not only acted on creating the win themes, but even telling you where in the proposal which win theme you should use. So yeah. Yes, Deepika.
Please carry on. Please continue your thought.
Okay. So the point is that you have to think in your brain. You have to think that I would have done it this way, or what are the other ways. Now you get, I'm not saying that, okay, boss, take this from here, copy paste this, and this is your proposal is ready. No. Think of it like, okay, these are the possibilities here. Now, next, let me change something over here, edit something over here, and see what impact does it create. Let me take. So now experiment with multiple perspectives. Experiment with multiple perspectives. And now even say that, okay, I know this is going to a CIO, and the CIO is very particular about innovation, or particular about security, or particular about this. How would he look at this win theme? What impression would it make on him? Okay, what can be a follow-up question from him? Use the prompt, use the LLM to extend, to improve the quality, and for see, this is I loved somebody was saying this. I think I heard it in a podcast, that if you have to use generative AI, use it for 2 purposes. One is to generate the quantity, because when you generate quantity, you get multiple options in front of you. Okay, and LLM, that's the strength of LLM, that it can generate in quantity. Like if a human brain takes this much, it can generate 10 things in one 1 minute, if which will may take even 10 hours or 10 days for a person to create. Okay. So it can generate enormous quantities. And then what he's saying is that now that you have multiple quantities, use the best out of that, and that will improve your quality. Or take the best out of all the 10 and create something unique which will be the best of the quality. So and that is the basic idea of brainstorming. Like, what do we do in brainstorming? We know that, right? That anything that comes out good comes out of brainstorming between people, multiple people. What we do, basically, the first round of brainstorming is let ideas come in. Let ideas come in. And then when you have the ideas, then what you do is that then you find out which is relevant, which is not relevant. Then what you do next round, what you do, you start clustering the ideas, that okay, these ideas look to be related, these ideas look to be related, these ideas look to be, then you create the clusters. Then you have got 4 clusters. Then you find out which are the unique ones, which are already there, and then you can combine. So you go on doing it in cycles, iterations. That is the same iteration you can do with the LLM, even without needing a team, even without needing anyone. That is the power of LLM, generative AI. Use it for that power. Don't use it only to create that win theme or create that content. Use it for giving you 10 different ideas of win themes, and then creating using the 10 different ideas, create that one unique win theme which nobody even has thought about. That is the power of LLM. When you use it in that sense, you will see what difference you are making with the generative AI. Got it? Anyone? Any questions? Yeah, Deepshika, you had any questions? Go ahead.
No question, Abhijit. So I am saying this prompt. I think it is generating kind of draft proposal itself, starting from challenges, then solution on a page, and then you have the following slides where you can plug in that wing theme. So first draft is ready, and then we can go with that with the team when timeline is short, and then team can fill in the respective details.
So it
So
is
it was very good prompt.
So you have to see that now that you have time left, that your entire draft proposal is getting generated in 1 minute or 2 minutes, then you have the entire day. Think of what can you do better, what more can you add, how can you refine it, how can you take it to the next level. Don't stop that, okay, my job is done here. Now think of now that I have this one day to think about what can I do which is unique, what is that will make me different, what is that I can create new value here, because now your drudgery is gone. Okay, anyone else, any questions?
Abhijit, one question. So let's say we have prepared the win themes, we have identified the go no go decisions with the help of LLMs, internal team stakeholders, all. Now, if I think through, let's say now LLM is helping me to prepare the proposal, which was took me a days of time to complete it now, and I think within few minutes or within few hours now it has been prepared. So now if I want to invest my time to do some value propositions, so for that I need to understand what is my competition. So the ideal way is to get that competition is from the sales, but sometimes if sales pre-sales team could not provide that intelligence, with the help of LLM, can I get that intelligence?
Good question. Yes, you can do that. Okay, but you need to know what intelligence you need. Okay, you have to know what intelligence you need. Okay, I will show you that also. Okay, if you see here, there is something called deep research.
Okay.
This will do a secondary research for you, but you need to tell it what research you want, because or else you will get the entire research. Then you will say, okay, what do I do with this? Okay, so you have to see, that is what I am telling. LLM is not going to replace people. somebody who is knowing how to use LLM is going to replace, because he will be the guy who will be doing 10 people's job alone.
Hmm.
Okay. So if you have to do it, you said that you need to do a research. Good. But what do you need to research? That you need to know. Right? When you know
can I-
that, then yeah.
So can I set up the context like we are bidding for the opportunity for the XYZ geography. We are pitching for the, let's say, XYZ service line, be it Oracle or be it Microsoft, or this is the technology. Now, based on that, could you
Yes, you can do that. You can do that. You can say that, okay, tell me, and I want to know this. Tell me what are the things which I should research about. I should do my generated secondary research. Okay. So you can ask, you can use LLM to tell you that yesterday, didn't you see that I used Perplexity to find out some instructions which I don't know. So you don't need to know everything, but you need to know how to find out what you don't know and what you need to know.
okay.
Okay, you can use. Why can't you use? Yes, you can use it.
Understood. So basically start with the first question and then based on
Yeah,
that
yeah.
response,
Go on building on it,
question.
building on it, building on it. Go
kind
building
of
on it.
conversation with AI.
Yes, yes. Go on. Your friend philosopher guide is here, who has got the world's knowledge. Now, how you leverage it is you on you.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, this deep research feature is available with the licensed user or it is available?
Yes, yes. Only with licenses.
And I
Okay,
think
so-
there is some cap also, right? 25, 26 left or something.
Yes, yes. There's a cap because it uses high compute. It uses very high compute. Okay. It uses very high compute.
So any similar this secondary research in Perplexity available? Any idea?
Yeah, Perplexity is available. Perplexity is also good in research. You can use it in research.
Okay. Okay.
But
Thank you.
yeah, again, there like the free research tools will not give you that quality because the token sizes are limited.
Correct. Yeah, that I understood from that day. Okay, thank you so much, Abhijit.
Okay.
So
Okay.
basically, in nutshell, we can say whatever the question we have in the mind prior to LLM was innovated, we were used to ask that questions to Google. Now we need to ask these questions to LLM to get the accurate answers.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, let's go to the next prompt. Okay, next prompt is again problem formulation prompt. Now this is again I was explaining, you know, that how do you, like, you many times we know that there's a symptom or there is an issue, but I do not know what is exactly the problem. Okay. Now problem formulation prompt actually helps you to basically take those symptoms, constraints, issues, that is the unstructured definition of a problem, and define it as a structured problem. Because only when you have a structured problem, you can solve it in a structured way. Okay. So that is all. So what I am getting here is basically that basically people are giving me different types of comments. Okay. And this is very good when you use it in the reviews. Okay. When you are getting a part of your proposal or an entire proposal reviewed by different people and they are giving you different comments, the thing is not what do we do? We always try to implement that comment, whatever they have comment. Okay, change the name or do this or that win theme needs to be more needs to be substantiated, and do that. We make that change. Okay. Next time when another proposal comes, we do it, and again we give back to that. Again, a similar type of problems will come or something else. What we get is basically a problem specific to what we are solving is basically a problem specific to a specific proposal. Okay. What we are not solving is the systemic problem. That is the reason why that problem is happening. Because if we solve the reason why that problem is happening, we will not have that problem recurring. Okay. So to solve it, as long as it is a recurring problem and there is a pattern of occurring of that problem, what we need to first solve is the root cause of the problem. And to find the root cause of the problem, we need to know basically where is it coming from? Okay. So this particular prompt pattern actually helps you in doing that. Okay. So this is the overview is like, yeah, okay, you are a proposal service provider, and the delivery managers in your organization commit that whatever you are giving in your proposal that does not meet the actual real capacity or the real units, and you are copying it from old deals, and all critical assumptions are lost in edits. People do not really care about what the assumptions have been made. People generally, we don't like to put assumptions in the proposals, right? But there may be a reason why that assumption has been made, and later it can become a delivery risk. Okay, if that assumption is not given out, is not stated out in the in the proposal, right? And that is where the problem between the delivery and the engineer solutioning or the solution engineering or the RFP team always happens. Okay, and so this is the scenario. Okay, now what I am going to do is that I am going to take that I am saying that okay, I will give you the scenario. So I'm giving it the instructional scenario that proposal writers do this, knowledge management initiatives are like this, minority of the providers have linking this, and your task is to identify the root cause of the problem and provide a long-term solution that eliminates the problem. And for that, I am giving it a problem formulation instructions. Okay, so I have given it certain instructions that how do you formulate the problem step by step. How do you do that? Okay. I could have left it to itself and said that okay, find a solution to it. Then it would have used its own approach and based on its own logic and given me a solution. But now I don't want it to use that. I am rather giving it my own instructions that first identify and list the problems using the Messi principle. Okay. Then I am saying that define the expected outcome of the solution that addresses the problem. Okay. Okay, if this problem is addressed, then what is the outcome of that? Okay, share the detailed insights about the problem and the solution currently being, and also taking the reference of other companies who are using this, having similar type of problems, and they are trying to solve, they have tried to solve the problem. Is that knowledge available? So I am using this, and then let me use this prompt here and show you. So basically, I have a very vague sort of idea of the problem. I am now trying to find out not only the problem, I am trying to find out the root cause of the problem, and I am also trying to find out the solution of the problem. Okay. And I am making it follow my instruction. This is basically how do you basically program a prompt. Okay. This is basically following your instructions in the program. Okay. So it is giving me the reasons. The problem was that the problem was that content related. So it is telling me that there are fragmented content repository. That can be one reason. Multiple siloed locations, SharePoint, legacy personal drives, inconsistent file naming and version control, ineffective search and retrieval, poor information governance, multiple copies there, low user adoption, new things are not being adapted. So these are expected outcomes. Basically, maybe you can have a centralized AI powered search, standardized taxonomy and governance, high user adoption, industry insights. So it is now picking up insights from the industry. Consulting firms like Deloitte, they employed enterprise level search, which is right, into Microsoft 365, achieving 60% document retrieval. Pair with governance council. Okay. Technology provider AWS and IBM use knowledge graphs. Yes, AWS uses knowledge graph between bid elements, incentivize the use of embedding search widgets. Okay, manufacturing leaders, they have, okay, this is also that they have got content stewards. These are people who are responsible for the entire content. They are the knowledge management managers, the content stewards. So, and discovery. These are the KPIs which you can measure, and then this is giving me the recommendations and the reflections. So starting with a vague problem, I am going to the solution of the problem. Not only the solution, I am identifying the root cause of the problem, and I am finding a solution to the root cause of the problem. So that is the power. That is the capability. Got it? That is how you form the basically the problem formulation. So basically you are even finding out a problem out of a unstructured information, some vague information which is coming to you. Read through the prompts, try to understand how the prompts have been written. Okay, what are you making the LLM think and what are you making the LLM do? When you start looking at it from that perspective, you will be able to write prompt for any task. Bet on it. If you just instead of just copying and reading what the LLM is saying, if you start focusing on how the LLM is thinking and how the LLM is giving you that, and start playing around with it, fooling around with it. Be a kid. Change this and see what happens. Change this and see what happens. If I do this, what happens? If I do this, what happens? Will it happen every time consistently? What happens in this one? What happens in that one? In this LLM, what happens in that LLM? You have to literally play around with it for anything and everything. Then you will see that, okay, now you can, then it becomes your real friend. It becomes your real friend whom you can ask anything, you can tell anything, and it will give you the answer. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Okay. Next prompt is let us go to the okay. Yeah, this is again another interesting prompt with cognitive verifier. Now, cognitive verifier is basically like sometimes what happens with us is like we ask a question, we want to know something, we ask a question, but that question may not be giving us the entire information. Okay. Or we are not providing enough context with that question. Okay, and this is, yes, you can see this one also. You can so basically I am asking a question, but I am not giving any enough information with my question. So what do? I make the LLM tell the LLM that, listen, LLM, I will ask you a question, but to get more context of my question and to answer my question, you need more context. So you will be asking me 3 more questions. And when I answer those 3 more questions, and those 3 questions should be related to the question which I have asked, and basically when you get the response to those 3 questions, you will formulate all those together, and now you have got more context. Because what is the LLM getting out of by asking the 3 questions? It is getting more context. Okay, and by getting that more context, you will use that context to now create the response. Okay, so the better context you have, the better data you have, the better quality your inference is. Okay. So I will take this question here. So it is asking me, now I had asked it to build a proposal development plan. So to build a proposal development, it is asking me, please clarify the scope and objective. What is the primary scope of this proposal and which deliverables are outcome? Primary goal is ERP implementation. Let me just give it some vague thing. Of course, if I am giving some vague, I will get some vague. Goal of this proposal, ERP implementation or productivity gains, cost efficiency, which deliverables or outcomes it must achieve. Okay, this I think scope and objectives will be clear with this. Stakeholder, what are the key decision makers? CO, or I can just give it CXO. What are their priorities? Speed, quality of service, minimum risks and disruptions, cost, competitive. Okay. Now this is the second question I'm answering. And the third is resource and time. What internal resources are available? What is the target subject submission deadline? Okay, I have 30 days. Just say, let me say this. So it takes that, and then based on that, it has now created everything here. So it has given me a 30-day milestone, risk mitigation tag, governance, KPIs, everything here. So I just gave it one vague thing, then it took that one statement and then asked me 3 questions related to that statement. Now then after that it's created the entire context, and then based on that context it created the deliverable, the proposal development plan. Got it, everyone?
Yes, Abhijit.
So that is what is left here. Okay, the prompt composite pattern is again simple. Executive summary is the same. Okay, I will show you this one. Prompt chaining is interesting. Tomorrow I'll show you this one, these things. Okay, prompt decomposition. Yeah, okay. Tomorrow we will go through the remaining ones. But for today, these are the prompts which I specifically the chain of thought, train of thought, react. These are the prompts you should always think about. Okay, these are the prompts which will basically make you think differently, because these are the prompts which will challenge your thinking also. So focus on your thinking. Writing the prompt is the most secondary thing to do. Now that you know that what are the possibilities, now that you have seen what can be done, now it is your job to think that what can I do. Abhijit did all these things with GPT and prompt GPT. Don't take it, or take it as only the baseline that this is what it is. Let me build over it. Let me build something better. Let me build something more efficient. That is what you need to do. Okay, clear, everyone?
Abhijit, just one question, sorry, but just out of curiosity, so now I think so far we have discussed about the preparation that we as an SI can be do at the LLM level with internal stakeholders and so on and so forth. Can LLM suggest me that who could be the key decision maker or who could be the reviewer?
Yes. Of course, yes. Of course, yes.
Okay, and using that prompt only, the wiseness of prompt, can I get the answer? Is it?
See, how, yes, think of it, let me stop the recording here.